why I think Bahubali is the tightest slap that Bollywood needed desperately. Needless to say, I thought this movie was awesome, and I will produce my reasons for thinking so in a moment. But before we do that, let's carefully talk about the reasons why people thought this was a bad movie. 4 reasons: CGI or poor special effects. 2. Illogical fight sequences. 3. Lack of realism. 4. The story was unimpressive. Let's talk about these one by one. First, those who had a problem with special effects. You have to understand this was an Indian movie. If you are comparing this with a Hollywood movie of the same stature, then the first thing you need to compare is the budget. Because Hollywood is where we get our standards of experiencing great CGI from. That's the standard we use to form our opinion on special effects in a film. Well, let's consider some examples from Hollywood. The movie 300, which was made 10 years ago, took $65 million to make. If you are to consider movies made recently, well, take Hercules, a movie that starred The Rock. It took $100 million to make. How much do you think Batman vs Superman took? $250 million. Captain America Civil War, $250 million. Bahubali 2 was made in $39 million only. So while watching the movie, nowhere was I in awe of the special effects, because the lingering thought in my head was a question. What if this dude who made the movie had a budget of $100 million, the same as Hercules, for each of the parts? If Bahubali 2 was made in $100 million, this problem wouldn't have existed. So comparison with Hollywood in terms of special effects, because that's where you get your standards from, is unfair and frankly founded in error. 2. Illogical fight sequences and the lack of realism, which basically are the same argument. You're looking at a fight scene and thinking, well, this can't happen in reality. I felt the same way while watching the first part and thought it was bad for the very same reason. Until I realized while watching Bahubali 2 that there was a critical error in my way of perceiving. While watching the movie, my mind immediately took me back to my viewing of Japanese anime, of which I'm a huge fan, and I realized there is a great similarity between the two. The reason why I'm judging the movie on the basis of realism is because it isn't in animation. I'm watching real people perform actions, which is making me judge the film through the prism of reality. The moment I turned on my anime mode, the movie became awesome as hell. It's a movie about super warriors almost as powerful as demigods. How else do you expect them to fight? 3. The story was unimpressive. Well, it's an epic, not a psychological thriller. Epics are allegorical tales that display the complexities in the simplicity of man's greatest motivations, which is why the bad character is unfailingly bad till the end, because he symbolizes evil and corruption. Much like Duryodhana in Mahabharata, he is not good and bad. He is a jerk who'd resort to any form of criminality, including dishonoring a woman. Exactly like the antagonist in Bahubali, who does the same with Bahubali's wife after his death. He captures and enslaves her. Another example is Katappa, much like Karna from Mahabharata, who when faced by a moral dilemma, chooses duty and loyalty over kinship or friendship as he slays Bahubali. Epics are not about psychological practicality, they're about larger-than-life ideals and the consequences of those ideals on simple-minded humans who bear them. Take Troy for an example. It's a simple story of king's ego and desire. Now, let's jump to why I thought this movie was awesome. 1. Creativity. Instead of slamming the action choreography and choices the filmmakers have made, try to look at it from the point of view of ambition. What does Bollywood lack? Creativity. We steal everything. The greatest fight sequences from Bollywood films are taken from Thai movies, Indonesian films, Japanese films, and even then, they are done poorly when compared with the original sources. I watch every single movie with an expectation. Would I get to see something my mind has not seen before and couldn't have come up with? This movie served that answer numerous times. Granted, some of the action was way over the top. But again, you have to suspend disbelief and imagine if you watched the same in an anime. Would you have not thought that this was awesome? Of course it is impossible, but don't tell me the movie didn't take grand leaps in creativity. For example, take the scene of Bahubali dying. His death scene is possibly one of the most epic scenes I've watched in movies. Not him getting pierced through in the back by a sword, but the scene where he uses the boulder and the surrounding rocks as his throne, sits like a king and dies like a total badass he was. Just stylistically, it was very creative to have a character die like that. 2. It answers with great satisfaction the monumental question of showing why Katappa killed Bahubali, which seemed impossible for us to figure out. Not only that, they were able to fit why Bahubali Jr.'s mom was enslaved and enchained. Now, was the movie perfect? Of course not. Of course, it had drawbacks, but which movie doesn't? So, finally, how does this impact Bollywood? Take a look at the last two biggest earners in Indian cinema, Dangal and Baahubali 2. The winners are script and story, not star power promoting themselves endlessly, cheesy item songs, rehashing of old classical songs into remixed party songs, not typical romantic garbage fest featuring a female spawn of nepotism and an actor who seems to have been manufactured in a lab by scientists because he can't emote. And from the looks of his acting, nor does he seem to grasp basic human thought. Bollywood isn't an industry of art. It is a business, which is why for several decades, what you've been getting is several renditions of Dabangg. Same love story, same action choreography, similar dialogue, similar concept being repeated and throttled to a pulp. And for two simple reasons. One, if the producers or the bosses of Bollywood find something that works, they tend to keep doing it to death. Two, in India, we almost worship film stars. So if you combine the two, a concept, no matter how dumb it is, that has worked well in the past, and using celebrity power by creating viral challenges among celebrity before a movie is coming out, item songs, party songs, they're able to generate enough attention to reach their profit margins. They are practically helping themselves by manipulating you, and it was working great until a new mark of profit has been created by doing none of that. And for an industry that works for profit, I can't see a greater incentive than the commercial success of Baahubali and Dangal. And the best part is, both of these movies are phenomenally different from each other. So it is not as if they have a new concept to copy and repeat. Both the movies are in itself an experiment on the Indian audience which yielded unexpected fruitful results. I hope Bollywood awakens from this tight slap Baahubali 2 has delivered, dismissing every single tactic of media manipulation, viral marketing and star power. Also, by no means I'm neglecting the few rebels who made some very interesting films in the past year in Bollywood. I acknowledge that. But to me, this is a tectonic shift in the entire functioning of the industry. And that is my opinion. What do you think? I would love to read more thoughts on this, so please share them with me in the comments below. Also, I would like to thank everybody who has donated to Mansutra. I'm finding ways to thank each one of you personally. If you would like to donate as well, we have a Patreon, PayPal, and a Paytm for Indian users. You can find all the links below. Lastly, if you'd like to improve your English, we do daily exercises on English improvement and self-awareness on Instagram and Facebook. The username is @Mansutra. I hope you have a great day, and don't forget, you are awesome.